Hi everybody, this is Dr. Hamid with your Math 120 College Mathematics class. Today we'll talk about section 8.6, which is about mathematics behind home ownership. Okay, we'll look at home mortgages, how to calculate payments for a house, and other things involved with this one. So the main objectives in in this section are, we will use the same formula which we used for calculating a payment of a car. Okay, we'll compute monthly payments and interest costs for a mortgage. We will look at how to make a table, mortgage table, amortization table, schedule for a loan. Okay, and we will look at problems, what you can afford to spend on a mortgage, what you can afford to spend on other other expenses, such as other credit liabilities and all that. Okay, we will also look at some general pros and cons of renting versus buying. Okay, so let's look at some mortgage terms which are used. Okay, the very first term is the mortgage itself. It's a mortgage is a long-term loan which is for the purpose of buying a home. Okay, the second one is down payment. It's the portion of the sale price of the home that the buyer initially pays to the seller. Okay, so that's called a down payment. And the amount of the mortgage, okay, what we need, which we'll borrow, is the difference between the actual sale price and the down payment. Okay, so that is the money which we do not have, and we'll borrow it from the bank or some other lending agency. Okay, so that's the mortgage amount. Now, some companies, which we know them as mortgage brokers, offer to find you a mortgage lender willing to make you a loan. Okay, so mortgage brokers will come up, all the time when we deal with home buying. Now, there are two types of mortgages. First one is a fixed rate mortgage, which they will have the same monthly payment during the entire time of the loan. Okay, entire time of the fixed rate mortgage. And the other one is a variable rate mortgage, also known as adjustable rate mortgages, ARMs. And the payment will go up and down based upon the market interest rate. Okay, if the market is down, it will be low, and so on and so forth. So it's variable, it changes, it fluctuates, going up and down. So these are some basic terminologies, terms which we hear when we deal with mortgages and home buying. Let's look at a few more things which are involved with buying a house. Most lending institutions, they require the buyer to pay one or more points at the time of closing. Okay, so at the time when the mortgage begins. So what is a point? A point is basically a one-time charge that equals 1% of the loan amount. Okay, for example, so if 1%, so 2 points means 2%, 3 point means 3%, okay, of the mortgage amount. A document, it's called truth in lending disclosure statement, shows the buyer the APR for the mortgage. Okay, so we will look at this one. In addition, some lending institutions, they can require a part of monthly payment to be deposited in an account. Okay, um, you know used by the lender to pay real estate taxes and insurance and this stuff. So that's another thing which we might come across. So let's start by calculating the down payment, calculating the payment amount. Okay, monthly mortgage amount. So same formula which we used earlier. So payment, suppose we borrowed P dollars, n times per year we'll pay, so which will be 12 in this case, for the for 30 years or 15 years, depending upon what we buy a house for. Okay, and it will have an annual rate R. So the formula is same which we used earlier for the car payment. I am saying this over and over. Okay, P here is the amount borrowed, R is the interest rate, N is the number of times we'll pay it back. Okay, so this is the formula. It's also known as a loan payment formula. Now, loan can be anything. It can be for car, for a house. Okay, so excuse me, sorry. Okay, um, Let's look at an example in which we will compute monthly payment and interest costs for a mortgage. Suppose you buy a house. The price of the house is $195,000, and the bank requires 10% down payment, okay, and 2 points at the time of the closing. The cost of the home is financed with a 30-year fixed rate mortgage at the rate of 7.5%. Okay, so these are the main items here. We have written it down. So let's move on. Our first thing is, let's find out how much down payment we need in hand to buy this house. Okay, so it's 10% of the price. 10% of the price. So it's going back to the section where we calculated percentages. Okay, so 10% of the price, that's what we have to calculate. Second thing is, we have to find out the amount of the mortgage. So 10% we will pay, we'll subtract that from here, and whatever is remaining, that will be our amount of the mortgage. Next thing we need is how much amount to be paid for the 2 points. Okay, so how much this 2 points will be. If you recall from the previous slide, by 2 points we mean 2% of the mortgage. Okay, so whatever we have the amount in part B, 2% of that will be our 2 points. Third thing we have to do is calculate the monthly payment. Okay, how much we will end up paying each month if we buy this $195,000 house. Okay, and last thing is how much interest we will pay at the end of 30 years. Okay, so our loan is for 30 years. How much interest we will end up paying if we keep this house for 30 years and make the payments. So these are our goals. Okay, let's start by doing one by one. First of all is the down payment. Okay, so $195,000, 10% down payment. Okay, so down payment is 10% of $195,000. I told you when we did the percentage sections, of means multiplication. In other words, 10% in decimals, it means 0.1. So basically this is what we're doing. We're multiplying 0.1 with $195,000. So if you want to buy a $195,000 house, you need $19,500 for your down payment. You have to have this money. Okay, so this is what you need for your down payment. So first part done. Let's move on to the second part. Second part is mortgage amount. Okay, it will be the difference between this we already paid, it's gone, we don't need this money, this is our money. Okay, so we'll subtract this down payment from the price of the house, and whatever is left over, that will be our mortgage amount. Okay, so we need a loan, okay, or a mortgage of $175,000 and $500. Okay, for this house. Okay, so 175. Okay, this one. So that's our second part. Okay, now we want to calculate the points based upon this one here. Next one is cost of 2 points on the mortgage of 175 and 500K. Okay, so 2% of that will be 0.02 multiplied by this. Okay, which comes out to be $3,510. So this is also we need to pay the at the time of the closing. So moving on, the last part was the down payment is this one. Okay, not this one. Okay, this is the last part, which is the monthly, not the last, second last. This is the monthly mortgage payment. So this much amount is our which we are borrowing at 7.5% for 30 years. So using the loan payment formula, which is this one here, P is the amount which we are borrowing, R is 0.075, which is 7.5%, N is 12. Okay, do all the math here, calculate everything, and the monthly payment comes out to be $1,227. Okay, $1,227. So this is your monthly payment. So that was D part. The last part is E, which is how much interest you will pay over 30 years. Okay, so this will be equal to the difference between the total amount of all the monthly payments we made in 30 years and the amount of the actual mortgage. Whatever we overpay, that will be obviously has to be the interest. Okay, So amount, every month we pay $1,200, $1,227. Okay. So how many payments we have to make? Since our loan is for 30 years, okay. So and every year we may make 12 payments. So altogether we'll make 360 payments. Now to amount, so how much we will actually pay them? That will be the multiplication of 1227. Okay, the amount of every payment and the number of payments, which is 360. Okay, it comes out to be 441,000. Okay, a little bit over $441,000. Our house costs $195,000, and we'll pay them $441 for $441,000. Huge, more than double. Anyways, so let's calculate the interest. The difference will be what we will pay in interest. Okay, so the total interest paid over 30 years is $266,000. Okay, 266K. That much interest will pay for 30, on a 30-year loan mortgage. Anyhow, okay, let's look at the how this how the loan schedules, amortization schedule work. Okay, so this term amortized, it basically means killed off. Okay, so when a loan is paid off through a series of regular payments, it is said to be amortized. And as I said, this means basically finished off, killed off. So although each payment is the same, okay, with each successive payment the interest portion decreases and the principal portion increases. So most of the money we pay in the first 10-15 years, it goes to the interest. We are not even paying them what we owe them. We're just giving them the interest. That's where they make money. So a document showing information about the status of the mortgage is called a loan amortization schedule. Okay, I don't know why we have it. Anyways, so let's look at how the entries are filled in the amortization table. Okay, so suppose prepare a loan schedule for the first 2 months of the mortgage loan shown in the following table. Suppose you borrow your $130,000. Your loan is for 15 years. Okay, your monthly payment is $1,357. Number of monthly payments 180. Your rate is 9.5%. Okay, so we want to find out how much we actually paid the interest and how much we pay the principal, and then we have a balance of the loan. Okay, so we'll do it for 2 months and then I'll just give you a general formula. So let's calculate the first payment. For the first payment, these are our parameters here. Okay, we begin with payment number 1. We are looking at for this payment here. Okay, so what happens here? So let's calculate the interest. For the first month, our principal is 130,000. R is the rate. Okay, T is the time, which is since we are making every month, so and this formula for the interest only requires you to use years, so we converted month into years. 1/12, that's the time here. When you calculate it, okay, first month, how much interest you will pay? You will pay $1,029 in interest. From your total monthly payment will be 1,357. Out of the 1,357, or more than 1,000 will be just the interest. Okay, so principal payment will only be the difference. That is just $328. Okay, everything else goes to the interest. So balance of the amount, balance of the loan, you will subtract this from what we borrowed. Okay, so we borrowed $130,000, subtract the principal amount, and this much our loan left. Okay, so the next payment will be calculated on this one. So interest for the next month, second month, is $129,000, not 130, which we originally started with. Okay, you calculate the interest. Interest comes out to be $1,026. Okay, now you calculate the principal payment. That will be the difference of the actual payment and the interest. So it's 330. So subtract the 330 from the what we started with. Okay, so this is your now balance. So putting everything back into the schedule, our first payment goes like this one here. Okay, so we actually made we made monthly payment of 1357. Out of that 1357, we paid major amount for the interest and small amount for the principal. And now how much we owe? We owe this much. Okay, next month, this interest gets smaller, and if when you go at the 30 years, your interest will only be $9 and your principal amount will be 1347. Okay, you see that? That's what we said earlier. As you make payments, your interest payment decreases and your principal payment increases. See, it goes up, and finally you finish off the mortgage. um, Now let's look at a very personal question. Okay, again, it varies from person to person, situation to situation, your job to job, how much money you make. Can you really afford to buy a house? So most financial advisors, okay, they agree upon this, just that you should not spend more than 28% of your income, monthly income, on your mortgage payment. Okay, no more than 28%. And at the same time, you should not spend more than 36% of your monthly income, okay, gross monthly income, on your total monthly debt, okay, including mortgage payment, car payments, credit cards, bills, student loans, everything, medical bills, everything. You should not, okay, go beyond 36%. So this is basically, sort of, as I said, most financial advisors suggest that. I'm not a financial advisor, just copied it from your book. So maximum amount you can afford, here's a table, okay, based upon the recommendations. If you're making $20,000 or $20,000, okay, a year, that's your income, annual income, you can afford a house on which your monthly mortgage payment is less than or equal to $467. Okay, and your total monthly credit obligations, total, in addition to this one, that cannot go beyond $600, based upon the, if you are a wise investor, wise money wise. Okay, and if your annual income is $100,000, then you can buy a house on which your mortgage comes out to be $2,333, and with all your total monthly credit obligations, they cannot go beyond 3,000. Okay, based upon 28% of this and 36% of this. Okay, let's look at one example, a scenario. Suppose your total annual income is $25,000. Okay. What is the maximum amount you should spend each month on the mortgage payment? So, and the second question is, what is the maximum amount you should spend each month for the total credit obligations? So if your monthly mortgage payment is 80% of the maximum amount you can afford, what is the maximum amount you should spend each month on all other kind of debts? So let's look at one by one. First one is, what is the maximum amount you should spend on each month on the mortgage payment? So annual income is $25,000, okay, and the monthly income is $2,083, okay, and you should spend no more than 28% of your monthly income, okay, on a mortgage. So if you multiply them out, your mortgage will come out to be, has to be less than or equal to $583. Okay, so that's the first part done. You should spend 583 max on your monthly mortgage, no more than that. Next thing is, what is maximum amount you should spend each month for the total credit obligations? Okay, income is this, monthly income is this, and you should not spend more than 36% of your total. Okay, so 36% of 25 is of your 2083 is 750. Okay, so that's how much you should spend the total credit obligation. Okay, now this was a little bit complicated. If your monthly mortgage payment is 80% of the maximum amount you can afford, okay, what is the maximum amount you should spend each month on all other debts? So let's do it step by step. This means our monthly mortgage payment is 80% of 583. That much how we can afford. So 80% of 583 is 466. So this much we are spending on the mortgage. Okay, so in part B, we saw that our total monthly debt should not exceed 750. So the difference is what we can take for the all the other debts. Because you are paying 466 for your mortgage, this leaves 284 for other debts. Okay, so your monthly current obligation, excluding mortgage payment, should not exceed $284. Okay, all simple. Just have to pay attention. Okay, sometimes it's just twisted around, but simple calculations. I don't know why I have this slide, but maybe it's sort of a common sense, general knowledge. A comparison of buying versus renting. Okay, benefits of renting is no down payment. Sign a lease. Move in. That's it. No points required. Okay, security deposit sometimes you don't have security deposit. And if it even if it has a security deposit, you will get it back at the end of the lease. It's flexible. You move into the to a renting a rented apartment, rented house. You don't like the area, you don't like the neighbors. You can move out. Just move somewhere else. Find a nice neighborhood. Okay, so it's flexible. It does not tie up hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay, if you buy a house, you are stuck. It's a big investment. You are there. Okay, but you don't have to worry about while you're renting. You can, it's no ties. That's a big advantage to me. Another thing is does not clutter what you can afford. You can afford for your total monthly debt with the mortgage. Don't need to worry about that much calculations. Okay, you just see, hey, that much I'm making. I'm sure I will make this much for this year, so I can afford to buy rent this. Okay, so that's easy. Um, it's normally lower monthly expenses. You pay rent, whereas when you are own a home, you pay taxes, mortgage, insurance, and upkeep and maintenance and all that. Okay, when you are renting, you get a lot of amenities. Okay, which is come with the package: swimming pool, tennis court, gym sometimes. Okay, garbage, water, all those things. Okay. um, you can sometimes housing market goes up and down. You don't have to worry about that when you are dealing with when you are renting. So does not have to worry about repairs. Sink leakage, call them, they will fix it. No need to worry about anything. Okay. No, and no need to worry about property taxing. A lot of benefits. Okay. Let's talk about benefits of home ownership. Okay, first of all, peace of mind, stability, feel of ownership. Hey, I own something. Okay. Second thing is, you it gives you advantage in deductions and other tax advantages. There is no worry of rent increase over the time. Okay, it's your house. uh, you can you can remodel. You can put in whatever you want. You can make it a dream house. But when you are in a rented place, you cannot do that. You can redecorate, you can landscape, you can do whatever you want. It's yours. Okay. And this is why people prefer buying a home is the for the equity. Okay, the difference between the home's value and what you owe on the mortgage. As the mortgage is paid off, the possibility of home appreciation is a potential source of cash in the form of home equity loans. Okay, so that's a big advantage. So when looking for a 7-year time frame, okay, so this is what, again, based from the financial advisor's perspective. Okay, if you plan to live at some place for 7 or more years, the total cost of renting, okay, is more than twice the cost of buying. So it's how you say it, it's wise to buy instead of renting. Thank you very much. You are I gave you just an idea based upon your book chapter. Some mathematics, some math behind buying a house. I hope you enjoyed the lecture. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. Try the homework problems, try the quiz. If you have any questions, do let me know. Thank you. Bye bye.